During a quest to decorate water monsters, a dam broke and a whole village was swept away by the water. Thousands of monsters and thousands of villagers drowned, a very violent sight. Then I don't understand why he's rejoicing, but if you think about it. Despite the countless casualties we've witnessed, this is an opportunity to gain a lot of experience. Now I need to stop him, and I can. So far, he's a weak 5th rank. All the factors that make a player stronger are centered in the Merkaba Academy, and since entering it, he's become much stronger. So far he hasn't become a monster, but it can't be said that he can achieve it very quickly. The entrance ceremony will be held in 5 days. Right now, the only way to kill Park Shur-hoo. A carriage broke down in the forest inhabited by monsters on the way to the city. We need to protect the people and their guards while they fix it. It's done, the girl said. You're not bad. The boy was embarrassed and thanked her. At that moment they shouted to him that the wagon had been successfully repaired. They were tired and all they wanted to do was sleep. At that moment there was a whistling sound. A log was flying at them at high speed. He pushed it away. The log fell to the ground and the sound was so strong that all of Les heard it. They drew their swords and were ready to fight. It was a werewolf, a rank 2 monster. He howled in his terrible voice. Shit, has it started already? I ran straight here, but I couldn't stop them. If only there was time to prepare. Werewolf attacked first with a hard punch to the face. Werewolf bit her, and she fell unconscious. The guy kept shouting lore lore lore. And Werewolf just forgot to hit harder. Hurry up and get in the Papavza. I'll buy you some time. Come on, we'll catch up with you. Hey! You! I can't leave Leon and run away. The werewolf started choking the guy. But at some point he got distracted by another one with a sword. Before we intervene, should we check if Park Shur-hoo is a hero who will save the world? Or just an ordinary player? Holy shit, he's huge! Come here, you bastard! The werewolf was getting angry. Get down, shouted the girl with the elegant sword. She struck the werewolf with a piercing blow. Did you stop? The second daughter of the Arden family who had one of the 6 royal swords. The most powerful member of Alicia Arden's squad. There were passwords even during the death tutorial. Well, I'll pass on that one. So it was you, Shur-hoo? The girl screamed. Why? I'm sorry, I got nervous and my hand slipped off. The guy answered. Werewolf attacked again. I've had it. She began to make precise attacks with her sword. But if Alicia Arden dies during this quest, he'll get a kickback. And then he can safely enter the Order of Lunia Arden, the great swordswoman. She's poisoned, but she won't die that easily. The girl was thrown back. You're getting on my nerves. Calm down. So I need to focus. Just focus is all I need. Oh yeah? Alicia Arden's perfect step skill. You're a werewolf with my sharp sword. Oh, she's gonna kill werewolf herself. Well, we can't let that happen. How can you handle my dagger? You filthy bastard. So it wasn't an accident. Yum 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 yum. And then the sword appeared. The girl fell. He was dead. He fell to the ground like a normal animal carcass and started bleeding. Why? What are you for? It's mine at last. The sword of recoil is mine. I've waited so long for this. It can only be used by those with a special skill, but we can think about that later. That's right, I've got it. If you kill NPCs, you can get experience. Oh yeah, I defeated you without even fighting. At that moment, something heavy landed on the guy's head. What's that? Who is it? Who the fuck was that? Come out now! That's when the monsters came out. It's the Grebes Taparicus, the monster's favorite food in the forest. They're completely covered in pollen. So in the eyes of the monsters, it's just pickled meat with tasty pollen. Get the fuck away from me. Fucking little things. Thank God she's still alive. He's not so formidable. When he's dead, of course. You should carve a trophy as a memento. Who the fuck are you? Killed 3 horned rats in a minute? The payoff's pretty good, isn't it? You. Cornellos? The protagonist drew his blade. Sihu saw this and drew his sword as well, and asked, Who are you? What are you doing here? Has he lost his memory? Thought the hero. Well, that's good for me, he thought. Your already pointless labor will go to waste if you don't hold your sword carefully, the hero now said with a sneer. What? Sihu thought, looking at his hand. And as he looked away, the main character with a burst of speed and a big swing, running at the player. In his hand was sand, which he threw at Sherhu's eyes. Before he could react, he grabbed his eyes in pain. You're insane! Die already! Sherhu shouted, swinging his sword with his eyes closed. Okay, he's covered his disadvantage by the fact that he's pretty fast, thought the hero, dodging the mindless swings of his blade. There's a chance that he'll be stronger than me. Then I should try harder. He continued to motivate himself, preparing to parry the blows. He counter-struck, his dagger attempted to slice through Sherhu's neck, but he struggled, managing to dodge. That's right, you think, that dagger can get stuck in your neck. So dodge it, thought the hero aggressively as he continued to deliver a series of different blows. You need to control your sword, he kept saying in his head, trying to convey this to Sherhu as he fearfully tried to block the blows. The character almost hit the player again before continuing to say, Learn to wield your blade so that you see nothing but it. The main character tried to strike Sherhu again, but he still blocked the blow with his sword. Corinne, that's the character's name, continued to press on the player while he focused on dodging. And when you get the hang of the blade, he continued to say, pulling a second blade from its sheath. He swung the second blade, something Sherhu didn't expect at all. Still, the hero caught the player off guard, then plunged his dagger into his shoulder. Sherhu cried out in pain, blood gushing out. His tears flowed on their own, he had no control over them. Corinne still decided to make the final blow, then swung. The dagger swung straight at Sherhu's head as he tried to break free with fear on his face, but he was held back by the blade in his shoulder. Blood splattered in different directions. But it wasn't blood from Sherhu's head, he blocked the blow with his arm. When the protagonist saw this, he didn't realize what had happened. But he still decided to finish him off. He put his other hand on him, and kept pushing. Sherhu tried his best to hold him back. But he failed, the dagger pierced through his neck. His arm was nailed to his neck. Thank you for everything before. I have to admit, I can get stronger at any moment, and I realize that because of you, said Corinne as he continued to press the blade against his neck. But I have no regrets for what I just did, he added, removing the knife from his neck. Sherhu's hand dropped and hit the ground. Because I just destroyed a monster, he finished, looking at the bloodied Sihu. Player Park Sihu is dead. A message popped up in front of the hero. The previous player's experience will be transferred to hero Corinne. Beginning of the journey of additional player Corinne. The system spoke as it raised the hero's level. Additional player. Knight of AAA rank. Heir to the Master of Martial Arts. The system finished. Additional player? I wonder if I'll have a characterization window? Corin inquired, looking at the message from the system. He turned around and noticed something. The hero saw a bloodied Alicia in front of him, who was still alive. Are you okay? He asked in a calm voice, lifting her up a bit. Not really, I can't see anything, she replied in a hoarse voice. Well, at least you have the strength to talk, that's good, said Corinne. Is your head spinning as badly and you can't smell, in addition your ears are ringing? The hero added another question. How did you know? She said, trying to produce a sound like a chuckle. I'm sure it's symptoms of peacock tree frog venom, 100%. He panted. At this stage, it's very difficult to create a poison of this level without using the characterization window. If the level of the combination was higher, she'd be dead in a second, reasoned Corinne, looking at the protruding, bloody fang from Alicia's stomach. That's good, of course, but the fang and its venom has gotten into her body. She's in great danger. We need to stop the bleeding immediately and give her the antidote. He spoke as he took off his belt. He tightened the belt around her shoulder. She squealed in pain, whereupon the hero said, trying to calm her down, "It's okay, I know how to stop the bleeding and administer the antidote. It'll be bad if she bites her tongue, we should give her something to bite on," he thought. He saw the dead see his hand. A brilliant idea popped into his head. He pulled back his sleeve and told her to bite that hand. "This is going to hurt a lot. Because of this, you have to bite really hard and be patient," said Corinne, taking off his white shirt so as not to stain it with blood and venom. "I don't know why I went back 3 years, but I was very lucky to find and destroy Sihu," he thought as he grasped the toad's fang tightly. The next moment, he ripped it out of her body, causing her to squeak in pain. After all that had happened, he sat beside the dead bodies of the monsters and the knights, looking at Alicia, who had lost consciousness. "I managed to save her, that's enough for me," said Corinne as he continued to look at her. The main character lit a fire, and in a pot began to boil some kind of incomprehensible white liquid. "I'll have the antidote ready soon. Just be patient for a bit," he said to Alicia sleeping next to the fire. "That's why you won't die so easily, at least not now," he added, whereupon she said, "Savior." The hero was surprised, rubbing healing herbs into the wet cloth. "Tell me your name," she said, with a great deal of difficulty. "I'm not sure you need it," Corinne answered her request, putting the wet cloth to her forehead. "What?" Alicia asked in surprise. "Just sleep, don't fill your head with all sorts of nonsense. I'll wake you up when I prepare the antidote," he said as he continued to hold the cloth. She agreed to this suggestion, whereupon the hero thought, "It's better for no one to know what I do, or what I do. We'll have to explain," he said, drawing on the ground with a stick. "Just like the name of the game says, Heroic Legends of Archon, it's a story about a hero. As the player copes with different situations in the academy, he must become the hero that will save the whole world." Corinne began to speak. "The hero is required to destroy a very large number of monsters, and to pass the whole game you have to destroy the final boss," he continued. "And the only reason Shirhu stuck to the story was because if you don't annihilate the final boss, the whole world will turn into chaos." He recalled the old Shirhu. "But now the player is dead, who will take the place of his role now?" the hero asked, looking at the dead player. "That would be me," he said smugly. "But there's one but. If this world is forcing me to do this, at least give me everything I need," with a dismissive glance at the red glow. "You don't have permission to use the system. You don't have permission to use the inventory. You do not have permission to use the ability window." A multitude of messages popped up in front of him. "I replaced the main player, but I can't use his abilities. And I was so eager to look at the characterization window after a long time," said Corinne sadly. "It's going to be really hard for me when I have nothing but memories from my past life. I need something different, something better than the system," the hero continued to say as he warmed himself near the fire. "I've been working on myself for 3 years. As of now, I am no longer a supporting character." In parallel with these words, he drew a circle on the ground. After which, a strange orange energy formed around that circle. A fiery force, very much like a hurricane, rose upwards. "Just as I figured it should have worked," Corinne said with a smile on his face. "In a past life, I learned this rune magic. Ancient letters, with immense magical power. There are only 3 commandment runes in total: duty, restriction, and oath. These are some of the most important and powerful laws in the world. They are also the source of power and the cause of destruction, the hero told us before he did anything. I will apply all 3 symbols to my body, he added, biting his finger to make it bleed. He applied the first rune of duty, which looks like a normal line. After that, smaller runes were burned on his hand. This rune commandment gives the magician more power when he fulfills his vow. For example, you can fulfill the vow not to eat chicken. But this oath is easy to keep, you get little to no power because of it. You need something demanding for that, said the hero. I must make a vow to which I will adhere until the very end of my existence. I must not turn a blind eye to the problems of good people, Corin continued to say as he continued to endure this hellish pain. A message popped up in front of him repeating his vow. I must not turn a blind eye to the problems of good people. His performance would increase upon completion of tasks. His heart was gripped by a chain. If he didn't stick to his oath, he would receive punishment. He bit his finger to apply the second rune of restriction. Corin applied it to his other hand, almost in the same stroke. The restriction was that he couldn't see spirits. In this world, everyone has spirits and ghosts that have no material body. They can harm you if you see them. They can't use their power on people who can't see them, said the hero. A new message appeared. If you do not comply, you will take 600% damage from enemy attacks. Punishing spirits will not be able to take me because of the commandment. I am now protected from them. Now for the last rune, said Corin. Oath. This commandment uses the weight of the oath as a source of power, and a huge risk appears. The hero continued to speak, applying runes from shoulder to shoulder. Because of this, Shirhu and I didn't apply it in my past life. But he still lost. He recalled the player's last words. The oath with the most weight. I will save this world, said Corin smugly, applying all the runes he needed to. His heart wrapped around 3 chains. If you don't fulfill the oaths, instant death awaits you, said the system. Parallel to these words, the hero screamed in pain. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to put a bark and subscribe. These you say what you like, it's very motivating. Thanks. Good luck to you.